So in 2007, I was hired in dentistry, but I was hired at the executive level, vice president of payer relations, and I discovered almost immediately a problem in our industry in the sense that insurance carriers were undercompensating doctors, and at the time, most doctors had no idea that you could negotiate your fees with insurance companies. So I felt a duty to start a business to provide this service, and I started in 2009. And the main motivation behind the mission that I believe in, which is to protect the financial integrity of quality dentistry. I believe people deserve quality dentistry, and my job is to help doctors eliminate the worry about being able to afford and sustain quality dentistry. So at the time, there were actually no services. There were no CE courses. There were no instructions on how to negotiate with insurance carriers. So to me, it was a duty. If I may, I'd like to share a quick story about my son. My son was delivered at 24 weeks gestation. I chose quality over price, and that gave us a 98% chance of him surviving. To me, that was everything in terms of my calling in dentistry. But my duty is to help those doctors that choose to remain in network have better compensation. The biggest mistake most dentists make is they don't keep up to date with the latest news, the latest tactics to negotiate, the latest strategies on how to optimize your contracts. They're too busy to the extent where I feel like practices are distracted because of the design on how insurance is working. There's so much more that you have to do to get a claim paid rather than just focusing on the clinical dentistry in which most doctors would rather do anyway. My mission with Backstage is to have a bigger platform so that we could spread this message across the industry. You know, when doctors do this on their own, you sort of go into negotiations somewhat blindly. Big mistake that I see a lot of doctors making in terms of trying on their own is they don't have the tools. They don't know what the benchmarks are in terms of how high a fee schedule could go. The result often is that doctors tend to leave a lot of money on the table by accepting a fee increase that could only be 5% when that insurance carrier would be willing to give you 25%. We have access to data, and that is game changing. So that's what doctors are missing when they try to do this on their own, is when you don't have the right data set, you do run the risk of losing an enormous amount of income. Dr. Rubicon in San Diego, he was making $700,000 and $800,000 in terms of revenue, but his actual take-home income was a little over $50,000. And what I discovered is that he was unnecessarily writing off over $200,000 of money that belonged to him, but he was able to rebuild his practice and sell it for over $1 million a few years later. We are so pleased to report that story. If you don't negotiate your fees over a 25 to 30-year career, that could be a $3 to $10 million write-off. So when doctors finally decide to make a change, you do tend to find that the scope of opportunity is massive. Your profitability starts to increase significantly because you're performing the treatment, you're just not getting paid on it. There's always opportunity. What I'm all about is the cause to help doctors fight the insurance industry, and that matches quality dentistry.